Ghanatube so it was your former for snowy Masai so atenasibium. Made some our draw echegum the four corners of Ghana na interpersonal senior matnas and nomedy. Belacotier and Sembia Ecoso ever on my nina eba never sent for my so Edia Mamma.
14 people who were working on a building escaped death yesterday at Roman Ridge in a building collapse incident that appears not to be new in the country, raising questions about structural integrity deficits and how this can be prevented going forward in the building and construction sector. Is it one of lack of proper supervision and regulation or quality personnel? We'll unpack the issues with our guest today. But I have a statement from the Ghana Institution of Engineering, and I want to share that with you. It says the Ghana Institution of Engineering, GHIE, has received reports of the structural collapse that occurred on Tuesday, 28th October 2025, at an ongoing construction site managed by Fabrico Builders at Roman Ridge, Accra. The GHIE expresses its deep concern and sympathy to all affected individuals and their families. The institution notes with worry the growing frequency of building collapses across the country and calls for urgent, coordinated and transparent action to address the root causes of such incidents. It says, while the Ghana National Fire Service has indicated its intention to investigate the incident, the GHIE calls on the government of Ghana to institute an independent technical investigation to determine the underlying causes of the collapse. It is vital that the findings of such investigations lead to meaningful reforms and accountability. Past investigations into similar occurrences have not resulted in the sustained changes required to strengthen safety and regulatory compliance in the construction sector. If decisive measures are not taken now, these tragic incidents risk becoming routine, with innocent lives needlessly lost. The GHIE therefore urges the Ministry of Works, Housing and Water Resources, in collaboration with relevant state agencies, to immediately constitute an independent committee of inquiry comprising experts from 1. the Engineering Council of Ghana, the Architect Registration Council, the Ghana National Fire Service, the National Disaster Management Organization, the Local Government Service, and the Ghana Institution of Engineering. This committee should review and strengthen 1. the building permitting and approval processes, the enforcement of the Ghana Building Code, the compliance and supervision mechanisms for construction projects, and the certification and regulation of contractors, developers, and professionals involved in the built environment. The Ghana Institution of Engineering stands ready to support the authorities with technical expertise and collaborate in developing practical measures to prevent future tragedies. These are the story. This is a statement coming from the Ghana Institution of Engineering. But let's go on Zoom now and bring in our guest here, who has already joined us for us to start this particular conversation on this important matter. And I'll be joining my guest very shortly so we can have this. We have Desmond Aka on phone and Dr. Joseph Dankwa joining us via Zoom. Okay, Dr. Joseph Dankwa is an architect. Let me start with you, Dr. Joseph Dankwa. Doc, grateful that you could join us here. From all that we've heard, I'm sure you are an industry person, so you might have done your own digging as well. What do you know so far about what happened at the Roman Ridge?
Thank you, and good morning to your cherished listeners. I think from yesterday, looking at the information that has been gathered so far, for now, what we have heard is from the contractor, who says that it was due to the formwork collapse. Of course, formwork collapse is also a form of a structural failure because your formwork needs to be designed such that it's able to carry specific loads. And it's a temporary support. You're supposed to carry it until the structure is able to self-support itself according to the design loads and specification that has been given to it. So when a formwork fails, definitely it's a structural failure. So there are places that, in fact, your design for the formwork has to be approved before it starts. But this is also missing in our regulations in terms of enforcement and compliance. So definitely, yes.
So you might want to help us, because if you say formwork, it's a bit technical. Is that the foundation as we know in our local parlance or what?
No, here we call it the props and then the shuttering system.
Okay.
Some you will use the timber wood, others will use bamboo. Okay. But if I look at the structure itself, you could see that yes, you have the timber support that is actually filled. Some use it in combination with metal props. So that is what I call the formwork failure.
Okay.
So in any multi-story building, you are supposed to have this designed and certified by the engineer, or the engineer on site should be able to ensure that this structure and the design of that formwork is able to carry the specific loads, the live loads that are coming on it, and the dead loads that is already ingrained in the structure itself. So once that is not done, definitely there's bound to be failure, you know. And sometimes the failure will also come about during its operation. You know, this was the pouring of the wet concrete, and therefore there's always supposed to be an ensuring that you inspect the formwork as and when it is being poured, so that if there's any loose bolts or any loose nuts, then these things are tightened. And sometimes you can have even the ground or caving in. So all these things need to be done before the pouring of the concrete. And I believe that for this, I believe it's more of an oversight, whereby the engineer at site overlooked this critical situation and allowed this to happen. So definitely it's a form of a structural failure.
So it's not an issue of, say, you didn't get it right from the foundation level.
No, for now, because the Ghana Institute of Engineers are calling for an investigation, it's only when you dig deeper, that is when you'll be able to know whether it's a control or it's just a singular thing attributed by the contractor, as we hear for now. But then it can be multiple of factors. Just like I said, you can have your design of your formwork, that's the support system. And if, for example, your ground fails in terms of settlement, definitely there's no way the formwork is going to stand. So were there any form of soil investigation that was done in terms of the technical investigation that was done and given to the engineer to know the soil capacity in terms of bearing capacity, so that they'll be able to engineer the type of support system that will be given to it? So if that has not been done, definitely, and this is where you look at institutional lapses in terms of permitting procedures, in terms of professionalism. Who are those who are responsible for the kind of permitting and approval processes that went into this? All these things will have to be looked into if we want to establish the true cause of this failure.
Okay.
Yabagotie and Semno about for comment, comment section. I measure I can kindly na ediamon. Answer na meso emusi meka musi aha Ghanatube. So in Sembia ekoso ewo on my name no onsa ebeka. Subscribe na hit the notification bell no for quick updates. See you there, Macabo.